This is the next special triangle that we're going to talk about. This is the 30, 60, 90 degree right triangle. So here, my central angle is a 30-degree angle. That means this is 90 and this is 60 degrees. The ratio for a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle is always 1, square root of 3, and then 2. That is the ratio. Okay? Your radius is not always going to be 2. Sometimes it might be a radius of 1. That means this would be 1/2 because it's a ratio. Okay? So if these are my ratios, let's talk about sine. Remember, SOHCAHTOA. Sine is the opposite, which is always going to be the y value over the hypotenuse, which is your radius, 2. I wrote this too close. Sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, a half. Now let's look at cosine. Cosine of 30 degrees is your adjacent side, which is always the x value, so square root of 3, over the hypotenuse, which is 2. Your tangent is always opposite, which is your y value, over your x value. So in this case, tangent of 30 degrees is 1 square root of 3. Can we leave our answer like this? No, we need to multiply by square root of 3 in both the numerator and the denominator. So this is square root of 3/3. That's what tangent of 30 degrees is. Okay, remember that I told you guys whenever you think about sine, think of y, and whenever you think about cosine, think of x, right? So in the same way, you can also say that tangent of 30 degrees is your sine, 1/2, over your cosine, square root of 3/2. And if you flip this, it'll be 1/2 times, you flip the second one, so 2 over square root of 3. You get 2 times 2 square root of 3. We cannot keep this the way it is. We have to multiply by the square root of 3. So you get 2 square root of 3/6, which is square root of 3/3. That was a lot, but that's also how you can do it, okay? All right, so now that we know the coordinates, this point is square root of 3/2 and 1/2. This is your x, this is your y. This is your cosine, this is your sine. So if we go back to our unit circle, if we go to my unit circle, I know that a 30-degree angle, which is right here, the 30-degree angle, the coordinates are square root of 3/2 and 1/2. Great. Now let's look at the 60-degree angle. This also forms a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So let me show you the triangle that it creates. This central angle is 60 degrees. This is a 90-degree angle because it's a right triangle. That leaves this side to be 30 degrees. So your dimensions, your radius is still 2. However, this side is 1 and this side is square root of 3 in your triangle. Okay? So let's figure out what sine and cosine are for a 60-degree angle. So sine of 60 degrees is square root of 3/2, and cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. So those are your coordinates. 1/2 for cosine, square root of 3/2 for sine. So notice, guys, it's just swapped. The way I memorize which one goes first is notice. Square root of 3 over 2 is bigger than 1/2, okay? So look, to get to 30 degrees, the x value is going pretty far. However, to get to 60 degrees, your x value is kind of short. That's the 1/2, okay? So to get from this point, your x value is short. It's just going 1/2. But for this one, your x value is going kind of far, square root of 3 over 2. And you can notice the same thing with the y values. The distance from here to here is short, so that's the 1/2. The distance from here to here, your y value is bigger, so that's square root of 3 over 2. So that's a quick way that I memorize which one goes where. Okay, so now that we have the first quadrant done, this is the first quadrant, let's do the second quadrant. So guys, your reference angle, this is 30 degrees here, this is 180. So if I subtract 30 degrees, this is 150. If I subtract another 30, this is 120, and this is 90. Okay, so guys, this matches. Your reference angle for 120 is this 60. So these coordinates are going to match. I'll have 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. However, what's different? Exactly. The 1/2 is negative because we're on the left side. Okay, the reference angle for 150 is 30. So the coordinates are going to match. Square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. However, this one will be negative. Square root of 3 over 2 will be negative. All right, so that's the second quadrant. Now you can figure out the third quadrant based off of what we did over here in the first quadrant. So 180 plus 30 degrees is what? 210 degrees plus another 30 degrees is 240 plus another 30 degrees is 270. Okay, so guys, 210, what is your reference angle? So guys, look, let me erase some things so we can see it clearly. Yes, your reference angle is 30. Okay, your reference angle is 30. It goes right across. So look, let me highlight it for you. Just follow it all the way across. That's your reference angle, 30. So the coordinates are going to be the same. We went far for the x value, so that'll be square root of 3 over 2, and that's negative. And we went down short distance for y. So that's also negative 1/2. Okay, for 240, your reference angle, if you go across the unit circle, is 60. So it's going to be the same coordinates, but opposite signs. So this will be negative 1/2 and negative square root of 3 over 2. Let's continue around the unit circle. 270 plus 30, this is 300 degrees, plus another 30 is 330 degrees. And of course, all the way around is 360 degrees. Your reference angle here, it went a short distance for x, so that'll be 1/2. And square root of 3 over 2 for the y, negative because it went down. And this one, you went a long distance for x, that's square root of 3 over 2. And you went down a short distance for y. So those are all of your coordinates. Really, all you have to memorize is the first quadrant and just follow the same pattern for the rest of the circle. Okay? Don't kill yourself trying to memorize every little thing. You can recreate it yourself. All right, guys, so what we did just now, we went in increments of 30. We went 30 plus another 30, plus another 30, plus another 30, and made our way around the entire unit circle with our coordinates. Now, yesterday, we did increments of 45, and that was this one. So this one is 45 degrees. We said this was 45 degrees, and our coordinates were square root of 2 over square root of 2 over 2. Sorry, square root of 2 over 2. That's our coordinate for 45-degree increments. So that means this one was where? 135 degrees, and your coordinates were negative square root of 2 over 2 and positive square root of 2 over 2. This was another increment of 45 degrees, which made this 225 degrees, and the coordinates are the same, just different signs. So these are both going to be negatives. And then another 45 degrees puts you at 315, and these are your coordinates. Okay, so we have all of the coordinates. Of course, everyone go through. The coordinates for this is 1, 0. The coordinate at 90 is 0, 1. At 180, it's negative 1, 0. And at 270, it is 0, negative 1. So we have the coordinates for the entire unit circle now. Okay, now let's go through and do the radians for everything. Okay? We have the radian. We're going to do the radians for everything. So far, we did the degrees and we did coordinates. All right, so we're going to now do the radians. So I'm going to go to a fresh unit circle. I know that this is pi. Everyone label pi. What I'm going to do first is break up pi into 4 equal sections. This is pi broken up into 4 equal sections. This is 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, and 45 degrees. That is 4 equal parts, okay? So that means this is pi divided by 4. This one is pi, 2 pi. Let me write this again. Let me do a quicker way for you guys to do this. Let me do a quicker way. This is one section of pi, the second section of pi, the third section, and the fourth section. Does that make sense? This is out of 4 pieces, out of 4 pieces, out of 4 pieces, out of 4 pieces. Just simplify it. So this is pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 4. And this is just pi. Just label it 1 through 4. Let's do the same thing to the bottom half. This is 5, 6, 7, and 8 pies. And there are 4 sections. So I'm going to divide it by 4. Now go through and simplify. This one needs to be simplified. And this one needs to be simplified. So that's how you get your radians for degrees of 45 increments. We split pi into 4 equal parts. Okay. So the first thing we did was we split pi into 4 equal parts. Okay? Next, we're going to split pi into 6 equal parts. So let me show you what that's going to look like. I'm going to now split it into 6 equal parts. All right. Oh, let me erase this. Okay, so now we're going to split pi into 6 equal parts. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 sections of pi. Increments of 30 degrees. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I do the bottom half, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And these are each pies. So I'm going to just put pies here. Okay, and we split it into 6 equal parts. So we're dividing everything by 6. And now just go through and simplify. This is obviously going to be 2 pi. This can stay the same. This will be pi over 3. This will simplify to pi over 2. This will simplify to divide the both by 2. You'll get 2/3, 2 pi over 3. This is good. This can simplify to just pi. Those 6's cancel. This is fine. This can simplify to 4 pi over 3. This can simplify to 3 pi over 2. This simplifies to 5 pi over 3. This is okay. And we already simplified that. That's how you get the radians. Okay, so let's say I have 120 degrees. I know this is 90. If I add 30, I'll get to 120 degrees. So guys, what is my reference angle? Meaning, what angle is similar to 120 that's in the first quadrant? Exactly. Your reference angle is 60 degrees. This is 60 degrees here. Okay. So I'm going to draw a little triangle here. This is square root of 3, and this is 1, and this is 2. So if I were to do for my reference angle, sine of 60 degrees, I know is square root of 3 over 2, and the cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. That means for my 120, sine of 120 is also square root of 3 over 2. And what is cosine of 120? There we go. Exactly. -1/2, because we're going on the left side this time. Here is the triangle we're forming. This is square root of 3. This radius is still 2. And this is left 1. So your cosine is -1/2. All right, let's figure out some other measurements here. We know sine, we know cosine. Let's do cosecant of 120. What do you think we're supposed to do for this? Yep, we're going to flip it. So guys, normally sine is square root of 3 over 2, but cosecant will be 2 over square root of 3. And don't leave it like that. So it'll be 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Okay, let's do secant of 120 degrees. It'll be what? -2. You got it. You just flip. You get the reciprocal of cosine at 120 degrees. Okay, now let's figure out tangent of 120 degrees. I know it's going to be, this is my angle here. It's going to be the y value over the x value. So that's square root of 3 over -1, which is just negative square roots of 3. And now, finally, we're going to do cotangent of 120 degrees. And we just flip it. So this will be -1 over square root of 3. And don't leave it like that. So your answer will be negative square roots of 3 over 3. That is cotangent of 120 degrees. Okay. Now let's give it in radians. So what is this in radians? Well, this is a 60 and 120, so I'm going to do increments of 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6, which is just 2 pi over 3. So that is my radians. 2 pi over 3 is the same as 120 degrees. Okay? All right. And lastly, if the question is asking for a drawing, so if we wanted to draw it, this is what we're drawing. So it would look something like this. This is my 120-degree angle. This is 90 degrees. This is square root of 3, 2, -1. That's how you come up, this little triangle with your ratios is how we came up with all of these.